Ever notice how something as simple as a bumper car ride can suddenly become like a real-life psychology experiment in action?
It's true.
We asked you for your most fascinating bumper car stories, and wow, did you guys deliver.
Yeah.
So today we're diving deep into one listener's account titled Bumper Car Chaos at the Fun Fair to try to uncover some of those surprising human behaviors. You know, the ones that just bubble right up to the surface when we're let loose on a bumper car track.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it?
It really is.
How this amusement park staple,
Yeah.
becomes this kind of social petri dish.
Yes.
Because you got the anonymity, you've got these confined spaces, and you've got just enough risk, I think,
Right.
to trigger some really, really intriguing reactions.
100%. And this account does not disappoint. The author talks about all these different bumper car personalities that they observed, right? You've got your daredevils who are just weaving through the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
You've got those folks who become like accidental heroes
Right.
by just like taking out half the track.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And even a hilarious bumper car limbo situation.
Oh, no.
I mean, it makes you wonder, like, are there unspoken rules to this bumper car universe?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting, I think.
Okay.
Because while there might not be, like, a rule book, right?
Right.
Humans crave some kind of order, even in play.
Yeah.
And we see this in everything, from playground games to, yes, even bumper cars.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. This idea of order within chaos.
Okay?
What's going on there psychologically?
Well, for one, I think, even in an environment where the stakes are so low,
Yeah.
like our instinctual fight or flight responses are still kind of subtly at play,
Right.
right? Like
Yes.
you see someone barreling towards you,
Oh, yeah.
your body reacts.
Sure.
Even if your logical brain is like, dude, it's a bumper car.
It's fine.
Relax.
Exactly. And then there's the anonymity factor.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is really, really fascinating. The author specifically mentions how, people almost revert to a more childlike state when they're in these bumper cars.
For sure.
Like, the usual social rules are just kind of tossed aside.
Anonymity is incredibly powerful. I mean, they've done studies, right?
Yeah.
Like the Stanford Prison Experiment. And it shows you how quickly social norms shift when people feel hidden or, masked in some way.
Right.
And in the case of bumper cars, that mask is both literal and figurative.
Yes. It's so true.
Right.
So we put on our game face, literally.
Literally.
And maybe we feel a little bolder, a little more willing to just embrace the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
But it's interesting to me because even with all of that, some sort of order still seems to emerge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
If everyone was truly out of control,
Right.
bumper cars would be absolute mayhem.
It would be a free-for-all.
It would be a free-for-all.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're not. It's true.
There's a certain flow.
Right.
There's like this, what we call emergent behavior that keeps things from just completely descending into total anarchy.
No, that to me is fascinating. That's a paradox, if you ask me.
It is.
So we're saying that we are hardwired as humans to find balance,
Yeah.
even in the midst of orchestrated chaos.
Yes.
Tell me more about this emergent behavior.
Okay.
What is that?
So it's like, when you see a flock of birds
Okay, yeah.
and they're all moving and it kind of seems random,
Right.
but then you realize there's a pattern there.
There's a method to the madness.
There's a method to the madness. There's like this collective intelligence.
Right.
And I think in a way, that's what's happening in bumper cars too.
Okay.
Like those patterns are emerging from individual decisions,
Right.
reactions, and it's almost like we're creating this unspoken set of rules.
So it's not just chaos.
Right.
It's almost like we're subconsciously working together to create this controlled chaos.
Precisely. And it all ties back to that human need, I think,
Yeah.
for both autonomy, right? Like we want to be in control,
Right.
but also connection,
Yes.
right? And bumper cars, in a weird way, kind of let us exercise both.
Yeah.
Like we're free to steer our own course,
Mm-hmm.
but we're also part of this larger, more dynamic system.
Which brings us to this amazing bumper car limbo moment
Oh, yeah.
that the author described.
Yeah.
They painted this picture of like the entire track just sort of descending into this free-for-all.
Oh, wow.
Of just spinning and bumping. It sounds hilarious, but it also makes me wonder, like, how does that even happen?
Right. Like, how does that level of quote-unquote organized chaos even come to be?
Well, researchers actually have a name for this.
Yeah.
It's called emergent behavior.
Emergent behavior.
Emergent behavior.
Yeah.
And it's this fascinating phenomenon
Okay.
where order arises kind of spontaneously from the interactions of all these individual parts.
Okay.
So think about like a school of fish,
Yeah.
right? And suddenly they all change direction at the same time.
Right.
Or how about like a crowd of people navigating a busy street?
Right.
There's no single leader calling the shots,
No.
but somehow this collective intelligence emerges.
That's mind-blowing. Okay, so you're saying that like with this bumper car limbo, even though it seems totally random and chaotic on the surface,
There's actually this unspoken agreement happening
there is.
about like acceptable risk,
Yes.
like a shared understanding of how far we can push this chaos.
Exactly. Exactly. And what's so interesting, I think, is how those unspoken agreements can really differ depending on the environment.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So the author mentioned being at like a fun fair, right?
That's right.
Which that in itself is what we might call a liminal space.
Hold on. Liminal space. You're going to have to explain that one.
Okay, so liminal space, it's just a fancy way of saying it's a place where the normal rules, they kind of get suspended.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So think about like a carnival, a concert, even a really, really good party.
Okay.
And these spaces, they allow for a certain, freedom of expression,
Right.
a break from those everyday routines.
Okay, so the fun fair setting itself, like, primes us for a certain level of letting loose.
Yes.
Which then gets amplified even more in, like, the bumper car arena.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does this bumper car limbo
Right.
actually bring people together?
Yeah.
Because it seems like it'd be more about, like, every person for themselves.
Right. Well, and I think that's where the magic happens, right? Because you're right. There's that individual thrill
Yeah.
of dodging and bumping and, trying not to get spun out too much.
Right, exactly.
But at the same time, there's also this shared experience
Totally.
of navigating this unusual, exhilarating situation. Right?
Yeah.
It's like everyone's kind of in on the same joke.
Yeah, I like that.
Even if they're, the ones bumping you out of the way.
Right. It's that shared experience that brings us together.
Exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of those connections and those shared experiences, the author's closing thoughts in this piece really resonated with me.
Okay.
They talked about how bumper cars, in a way, give us permission to tap back into that childlike sense of freedom.
Yes.
And abandon that we tend to lose as we get older.
Yes, and I think that's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
Because, as we grow up, we internalize more rules, we become more self-conscious.
Right.
Right? And bumper cars, they offer this socially acceptable way.
Yes, exactly.
To just let go of those inhibitions and to
Exactly.
experience a taste of that carefree play that honestly we might not even realize we miss.
Right. And it's almost like we're giving ourselves permission
Yes.
to be silly.
Yes.
To bump into things, figuratively, of course,
Yeah.
without, worrying about the consequences.
Exactly.
When the fun fair setting just kind of amplifies that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Because it's almost like it's expected
Yeah.
to let loose a little bit in that environment.
100%. I mean, the sights, the sounds, the smells, it all just contributes to this feeling of, stepping outside of reality for a little bit.
Yeah.
And into a world where, anything goes.
Right.
Yeah.
And within that world, those those seemingly chaotic bumper car collisions almost become meaningful.
Yes. I love that. That's a great way to put it.
It's not just about the bumps and the spins. It's about what those bumps and spins represent.
Exactly.
Your release, a moment of pure joy,
Yeah.
connection, even if it's fleeting.
I love that's a beautiful way to theme it, really.
Well, and I think that's why, this particular listener's account and so many of our own personal bumper car memories
Yes.
really tend to stick with us.
Right.
They remind us of a time when we were less inhibited, more open to just embracing the unexpected.
100%. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
This has been so eye-opening.
It has.
It's like we walked in here thinking we were just going to be talking about dodging and bumping.
Right.
And now we're walking out with all these insights into emergent behavior and liminal spaces and
the power of play.
the power of play. Yes.
I love it.
It's amazing what a little, digging beneath the surface can reveal.
It really is. It really is. A huge thank you to our listeners
Mm-hmm.
for indulging us in this bumper car expedition today.
Yes. And remember, next time you're navigating a crowded space, Just picture everyone's about to hop in a bumper car. You might just unlock a whole new level of understanding
I love that.
about this crazy dance that we call human behavior.
It's the best.
Until next time, keep those observations coming.